rallies, public rejection, a call for an economic boycott against Arizona products and their companies, and a prolonged civil disobedience are some of the actions against the SB 1070. One special initiative is striking directly in the most representative sport of the American culture.
We're here today to demand of Major League Baseball to reconsider the decision to have the All-Star Game next year in Arizona. We believe that a pastime, national pastime like baseball, that is really symbolic of the diversity of our country, should not have its most important game in a state that has chosen to attack immigrants and to engage in racial profiling.
Community leaders, unions, and immigrant rights advocates consider that moving the 2011 All-Star Game from Phoenix will send a strong message to the authorities and fans of a sport where 27% of the players are Latino.
We would like Arizona to have the jobs and the economic stimulus that will come from hosting the game, but we don't want it to be in a situation that the players, the workers at the stadium, or the fans could be detained by the police, unnecessarily going through hazard and personal difficulties just because they look or appear to be undocumented workers.
Different organizations across the country consider this a unique opportunity to let the country know that the SB 1070 must be stopped and also send a deeper message.
I think that more important than protesting is to call on the public and call Arizona to join the voices that seek to resolve the presence of 11 million undocumented workers in this country by passing comprehensive immigration reform. That is the real solution. It is not forcing the police to detain anyone who may look as undocumented. It is to change our broken immigration system.
Well, you'll have a lot of documented millionaires, but foreign-born people coming to Arizona to play the All-Star Game if it goes there. Mary Giovagnoli, baseball players are certainly in the post-civil rights era generally pretty careful about speaking up politically. They don't do it because it complicates their endorsements and their other business interests. Yet many baseball players have spoken out on this, and I'm wondering if boycott is the way, well, first of all, is it a useful tool to have in your back pocket? What do you think of the tactic?
Well, I think as Karen said earlier, you need as many tactics as possible in an effort to try to change the hearts and minds of people. And a boycott, I think, becomes an effective tactic when you can demonstrate that there is, economic purchasing power at stake here. And so it certainly has been useful in the past in Arizona. Of course, Arizona has lost the Super Bowl in the past because of its stance on Martin Luther King holiday and not participating in that. Other states have seen the impact over time of boycotts, and in fact, they've already estimated that Arizona is likely to lose about $90 million at least in boycott in fees that they would have otherwise gained through conventions and things. But I think in the longer run, what the report was talking about is that it's not just money not coming into the state, but the money that the state loses by taking away a significant population that is paying taxes, that is working, that is buying things right in the state itself. So you lose money on both sides of the equation. And ironically, the tourist board is now finding that people are calling and saying things like, "Is Phoenix safe? Should I be, coming to Phoenix? Because, you keep saying that SB 1070 is all about public safety and that people are, being murdered and kidnapped." Mm-hmm. And so there's this strange thing where the boycott is effective, but in some odd way, the arguments that politicians are using to justify SB 1070 is beginning to backfire on them as well, and probably adding to the impetus to boycott the state in some areas.
And that's a pretty perverse outcome when
Isn't
Phoenix is safer today than it was years ago,
Exactly.
and statistically one of the safer American big cities. Now you have to defend your reputation. Implicated in boycotts, Karen, are also the businesses that are subject to this public pressure. The associations that have conventions scheduled for Phoenix, Major League Baseball, by anybody's definition, a big business. They have public relations concerns too, don't they?
They do, and we found one of the plaintiffs that we're representing in our lawsuit is actually the Arizona Asian Chamber of Commerce. Usually small business owners are not the first people to step up and say, yes, please boycott our state. But they actually encouraged us to join NCLR because they see that if the sooner they can get rid of SB 1070 and the reputation that it's making for the state, the better off that they will be, both locally and as well as getting the convention business. I think the larger businesses really do need to be thinking about their reputation in terms of not just the Latino, but also the Asian American community. We have growing buying power. I mean, a lot of the debate has focused on low income immigrants. A lot of the debate is whether immigrants are, getting services or paying taxes, but they forget that our communities are actually the engines of small business. We start businesses faster than many other communities, and we see this, as Clarissa said, not just as an issue around immigration, but it is an attack on who's immigrating. And we are offended that people don't, that a state doesn't seem to want our communities. And that is a message that most corporations cannot afford to be sending to customers and also contractors who might be supplying to them.